The new season of Otter Stuff drops on Netflix tonight. Do not watch it without me.
What? Why not? I have to see if my fan theories are correct. I think it's set in the 80s.
Fan theories have been around since movie making began. When we still have questions about what happened in one movie or another, we've just gotta know the answers. And as fans, it's so much fun to come up with our own ideas about our favorite movie mysteries. And sometimes we're even right. So much so that even the movie stars have confirmed some of the craziest theories out there.
A lot of people have asked me recently if I shrink down and go, the theory is called the Thanos theory.
While most fan theories tend to stay on the internet these days, sometimes one or two are so good or so crazy that they'll even make their way to the very top, the creators of the movie themselves. And when the minds behind our favorite movies get involved and actually try and help prove these theories right, it can be so vindicating. Like this one awesome theory about the movie Cars. Some fans had come up with the idea that the cars in that universe actually got so intelligent over time that they overthrew the human race. And that's why they don't require drivers and why there are no people in the movie. It might sound a little dark for Disney, but creative director Jay Ward actually confirmed the idea. He said that the cars got smart enough to decide they didn't need people after all, that humans were just dead weight and simply took on the personality of the last human that drove them. While that does make us feel a little bit more wary of Lightning McQueen and the gang, we love that this is one theory that actually came true. While Batman vs. Superman might not have been everything that fans and critics had hoped it would be, it still had a lot of pretty amazing moments, and one in particular really stuck out for a ton of fans, and that actually goes all the way back to Man of Steel in 2013. If you think back to that movie, you've gotta remember the insane battle between Superman and General Zod, in which there were a ton of casualties. According to Zack Snyder, something like 5,000 people lost their lives as a result of that fight. Well, that's not something anyone would walk away from without a ton of guilt, Superman included. So, when fans saw a scene in Batman vs. Superman in which Superman saved a girl from a burning building and was then swarmed by a ton of people dressed as skeletons all clinging to him, they got to wondering if they actually symbolized all of the people he couldn't save in that previous battle. And Snyder confirmed it. He said he wanted to highlight the human cost of those massive superhero battles, because it's something that we so rarely talk about. Sometimes it's clear that cast members really want to say more when they're questioned about a fan theory, but because of contracts and spoilers, they have to hold their tongue. But sometimes the lack of outright denial kind of sounds like a confirmation, so we'll take it as a yes anyway. At least that's what we're choosing to believe when it comes to this fan theory about Chick's dad on Riverdale. When he was first introduced, we were led to believe that Chick was Betty's full brother, in that both of her parents were his biological parents as well. But as the series went on, fans started to wonder if that was actually the case. Some had the idea that Hal wasn't actually Chick's dad, and that maybe F.P. Jones was? Since the info was released that Betty's mom Alice was an ex-Serpent, this idea seemed pretty plausible. And when questioned about it, Hart Denton didn't exactly deny it. He simply laughed and said that he had to lock up his lips about that one. So we're going to go ahead and take that as a solid maybe. The end of Stranger Things 3 came with one of the biggest cliffhangers in the show's history yet. What happened to Hopper? After the ending caused such a stir among fans because Hopper has been such an integral part of the show, everyone immediately started coming up with theories about how he must still be alive and will be coming back for season 4. The theories range from the subtle that he is actually the American that is mentioned at the end of the episode, to the fantastic that he was sucked into the Upside Down as the machine exploded. The cast have been grilled about this topic ever since season 3 wrapped, and Millie Bobby Brown herself even addressed it. While she didn't offer a concrete answer, she expressed just how much she wants Joyce and Hopper to wind up together, which could be a hint that all is not lost for Hopper quite yet. She also said that the creators definitely listen to what the fans want for the show, but that sometimes they do the opposite to keep us on our toes. Okay, so while we already know how this one turned out, we can't not mention it because it is just one of the best fan theories ever. Remember, at the end of Avengers Infinity War, when Thanos snapped his fingers and disappeared half of all life in the universe? Of course you do. The world was never the same after that fateful day. Do you also remember how, when coming up with theories about how the Avengers might finally defeat Thanos, fans decided that one of the best ways would be for Ant-Man to make himself tiny, fly up Thanos' butt, and return to human size, destroying him from the inside? Yeah, we sure do. It was one of the most popular theories at the time because on one hand, it actually makes a lot of sense, and on the other, can you even imagine if that is how the entire Avengers saga ended? Well, Josh Brolin got in on the action when he posted a video of himself on Instagram, struggling to make an Ant-Man sized deposit into the toilet. Good times. For a long time, there's been a theory floating around that Peter Parker made an appearance in the MCU long before Tom Holland put on the suit and leapt out to join the Avengers. In fact, fans believe that he was quickly spotted as far back as Iron Man 2. During the Stark Expo, there was a brief shot of a kid who, dressed normally aside from an Iron Man helmet, stood in front of a robot and raised his hand before Tony Stark swept in and blew the robot away. Stark says, "Nice work, kid," to the little boy before flying away. For years now, fans have declared that this kid was actually a young Peter Parker, because not only does the age line up, but the expo took place in Parker's hometown of Queens, New York. But while this could have just stayed a fan theory forever, the one and only Tom Holland confirmed for fans that this boy was actually Peter Parker. The actor said that Kevin Feige himself confirmed the theory for him, stating that Parker has been in the MCU for way longer than any of us knew. When Joker hit theaters last year, it blew the roof off of everyone's expectations and became one of the biggest comic book movie success stories of all time. Not only did it present the kind of anti-hero movie that we rarely get to see, it completely upended the entire backstory of the Clown Prince of Crime and instead provided a painful character study of a person isolated in the world and trying to deal with his mental illness in a system that had abandoned him. But along with all the praise came a few questions from fans. Like, is Arthur Fleck actually the Joker? At the end of the film, we are left wondering if any of it actually happened, or if it was all just in Arthur's head. And then, a theory popped up that Fleck might not be the Joker, but might have inspired him instead. While Todd Phillips left the question open-ended, he did address it and seemed pretty into the idea. He likes that the movie's ending is up for interpretation, and this theory plays into that perfectly. Few shows have inspired as many fan theories and as much debate quite like Game of Thrones, and we may never have another show like it. All the way back in 2015, things really started to get rolling with Arya Stark and her interactions with the Faceless Men. One episode in particular led to a ton of speculation, when some began wondering if Jaqen H'ghar, the Faceless Man who trains Arya, was actually also Syrio Forel, Arya's old sword fighting teacher. Or rather, that Syrio was Jaqen all along, seeing as how he can take on any identity that he wants. This theory was super popular for a while there online, and finally someone managed to ask Tom Vlachia, the actor who played Jaqen, all about it. He went on to say that while he didn't know for sure, he didn't see any evidence to disprove the theory, so it could very well be true. And in Game of Thrones, pretty much anything could have happened. So we're going to take that one as a yes as well. Sometimes fan theories are seriously researched, intensely debated questions that could have a huge impact on the entire movie or TV show that they are about. And sometimes they're funny questions that make you go, "Oh yeah, what's the deal with that?" This next theory belongs to the second category, and it involves one of the most beloved series of all time, Harry Potter. Ever since it was revealed that Voldemort was living on the back of Professor Quirrell's head during the Sorcerer's Stone, fans have wondered one thing: how did Quirrell manage to sleep like that? If he rolled onto his back, would Voldemort be smothered and unable to breathe? Well, lucky for Daniel Radcliffe, he was asked all about it. He pretty much suggested that Quirrell should spend his time sleeping on his side, or that Voldemort could have survived as long as Quirrell was still getting air into his lungs. Whatever the solution, we can't imagine that it was comfortable for either of them. Dark Lord problems, you know? There has been one fan theory that has been around forever, and it has to do with the beloved Disney classic, Aladdin. For years and years now, fans have wondered if the peddler at the very beginning of the movie is actually the genie in disguise. He's the one who introduces us to the world of Agrabah, the lamp, and oh yeah, he is also voiced by Robin Williams himself. For decades now, we've wondered if we would ever get an answer to that question, and finally, our childhoods can rest easy because it was. The film's director, Ron Clements, confirmed that that was the original intention and why they had Robin lend his amazing voice to that character in the first place. There was even a reveal in the original ending of the movie that would have confirmed it then and there.
Like I told you, things are never quite what they seem, are they?
But in the editing process, it was removed, mostly for timing and storytelling purposes. So finally, after all these years, we have the confirmation at last that one of the oldest Disney fan theories was completely true all along.
Not bad! Good night, Alice!
We are huge fans of fan theories, and we think that people who love movies and TV enough to spend their time digging into every detail about them are some seriously awesome detectives. What about you? Did you know the answer to any of these theories? Do you have any burning fan theories of your own that we should know about? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe while you're here to keep up with all the latest videos from ScreenRant.